I didn't sign up for this. That's all the text said. 5 simple words. It showed up right under a screenshot. Our joint bank account. Completely drained. My name's Logan. I'm 32 years old, head mechanic at Wilson's Auto over in Spokane. And just 4 hours before that message hit my phone, I was sitting in a doctor's office hearing words no one ever wants to hear. Lymphoma. Stage 2. Treatment options. Survival rates. The kind of stuff that makes the world stop spinning. But even with all that, the doctors told me it was treatable. A long road, but a possible one. I walked out of that office numb, sat in the parking lot with my phone in my hand, staring at my contact list until I hit Vanessa's name. My wife. Told her we needed to talk. Asked her to meet me at home. She said she was busy, had errands to run. Would be back later. When I got home, I knew. Half the closet was empty. Her suitcase, gone. Wedding photo, missing from the nightstand. And then my phone buzzed. That message, and the screenshot showing she'd just transferred all $38,000 of our savings, money we'd built up together over 5 years, into an account with only her name on it. I stared at it for a whole minute. Then I typed 2 words. Take care. Put the phone down. Cracked open a beer. Sat on the back deck. Didn't cry. Didn't scream. Didn't throw anything. Just sat there, letting it all sink in. The cancer? I could deal with that. But the betrayal? That was something else. My neighbor Tim must have seen me out there. He walked over to the fence. You all right? He asked. Saw Vanessa tear out of here earlier with her trunk loaded up. I looked at him. Got some health news, I said. She didn't take it well. Tim nodded like he understood. Didn't press. Let me know if you need anything, he said. Lisa makes a hell of a casserole. Appreciate it, I said. After he left, I went inside. Pulled out the manila folder my Uncle Brian had given me last month. He used to work in estate planning before retiring. Still liked keeping his hand in, as he put it. When my grandfather passed back in February, he left me a small piece of land up north. Brian helped me get all the paperwork handled. Title transfers, accounts, legal stuff. Always get your affairs in order, he'd said, especially when you're married. Protect each other. So I had started, updated my will. Had Vanessa listed as co-owner on the '69 Mustang I'd spent 2 years restoring. Even opened a second account for the land sale we were expecting in a few months. All of it to protect her, to protect us. Funny how things work out. I grabbed my phone and called Brian. Hey, I said, remember that estate planning talk we had? I need to make a few changes. There was a pause. Everything okay, Logan? No, I said, but it will be. I'd met Vanessa at a wedding in 2016. My buddy Drew had gotten hitched, and she was a friend of the bride. She was sharp, funny, beautiful, worked as a paralegal at a downtown firm. 6 months later, we moved in together, married the year after. First few years? Solid. We saved for a house, found a fixer-upper in a decent part of town. Weekends were filled with renovation projects. Me replacing cabinets, redoing plumbing, sanding floors. She picked paint colors, furniture, and posted everything online like we were some HGTV couple. Renovation success story, she called it. Thing is, I came from a family that knew how to struggle. My dad passed when I was 13. Mom raised me and my sister on a school teacher's salary. We learned early. Live within your means, work hard, always have a plan B. Vanessa's life had been different. Her parents paid for everything. College tuition, new cars every couple of years, even the down payment for our house. Her dad, a corporate attorney, never really saw me as more than a trade school project. Always introduced me at parties as Vanessa's husband, never just Logan. Looking back, yeah, I see the cracks. They started showing long before the diagnosis. 3 months ago, Vanessa brought up moving to Seattle. Better career options, she said. I wasn't on board. I had a stable job. We had friends here, and we were just a few years from paying off the mortgage. After that, she got quiet, distant, hanging out with friends I'd never met, staying out late, the kind of things you feel in your gut before you see them with your eyes. Then came the little comments. Don't you ever want to do more than fix cars? My college roommate's husband just made partner. They're building a vacation home. Sometimes I wonder what life would have been like if I'd moved to Chicago after graduation. I ignored them. Told myself marriage had rough patches, that we'd weather it. Then I found a business card in her purse for a fancy apartment complex in Seattle. Still didn't confront her. Just called Brian. Started reviewing everything. Titles, deeds, finances. Just in case. 2 weeks later, I went to the doctor for what I thought was a stubborn cold. Found the swollen lymph nodes instead. Blood tests, biopsy. The night before the results came back, Vanessa and I had dinner together at our kitchen table. She told me about some coworkers' promotion. I sat there watching her talk, wondering if she'd noticed the fear on my face. She didn't. Not really. "Everything okay?" she finally asked. "Yeah," I lied. "Just tired." She nodded and kept eating. That should have told me everything. 3 days after she left, I started chemotherapy. The first chemo session hit harder than I expected. The nurse led me to this big recliner, hooked me up to the IV and asked, "Is your ride waiting outside?" I said, "Nah, took an Uber. My wife's out of town." She paused, gave me that look nurses give when they know there's more to the story, but don't want to push. Just patted my arm gently. "First one's the hardest," she said. "You'll get through it." I nodded even though I wasn't sure. Even though my wife wasn't just out of town, she was gone. For good. I hadn't told anyone yet. Not really. Not even my sister. Saying it out loud would have made it too real. When I got home, there was a casserole sitting on the front porch. Note taped to it from Lisa, Tim's wife. "Made too much. Enjoy." I knew that wasn't true, but I appreciated the lie. I tried to eat, but it didn't go well. Ended up curled on the bathroom floor, sweating, shaking, empty stomach, twisting with nausea. Alone. That night, I finally called my sister Ellie. She lives in Portland. Told her everything. The diagnosis, Vanessa, the bank account. There was a long silence on the other end. Then she said, "I'm coming up tonight." I told her to wait. "Just give me a few days. I need to figure a few things out first." The next morning, I called the bank, just to confirm it wasn't some mistake. No mistake. Vanessa had drained our accounts exactly 40 minutes after I called her from the doctor's parking lot, before she even knew the full diagnosis. All she needed to know was that I was sick. That was enough for her to bail. Something snapped in me that day. The sadness, still there. But it was hardening, turning into something else. Not anger, purpose. I gathered every financial document I could find, insurance forms, titles, bank records, and drove straight to Uncle Brian's. He spread them out on his kitchen table, reviewing every line. "She can't just take everything," he said. "It was a joint account," I replied. "Her name's on it too." Brian took off his glasses and looked at me serious. "What she did wasn't just wrong. It might have been illegal, especially knowing you were facing a medical crisis." "Can I prove she knew?" I asked. He thought about it. "If you've got phone records showing you called her after the diagnosis, timestamps on the transfer, maybe even a text." I handed him my phone, scrolled to the message. "I didn't sign up for this." He read it. His jaw tightened. "That's pretty damning." We spent the next 3 hours planning. He told me to file that Mustang title paperwork I'd been holding off on, to move everything from the joint safe deposit box into one that only I had access to document every treatment, every expense, every call. That evening, I got an email from Vanessa's cousin, Megan. She and I always got along. She'd been at our wedding, had even hosted our engagement party. "Logan, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. I don't know what Vanessa's thinking. Just wanted you to know. I'm here if you need anything." I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed back, "Does Vanessa know about my diagnosis?" She replied almost instantly, "Yes. She told everyone. Said she couldn't handle it and needed a fresh start. My whole family is shocked. This isn't right." I thanked her. Then I closed the email and sat out on the porch again. That was the first time I felt clarity. I knew exactly what I needed to do. 2 weeks into chemo, I got an official letter from Vanessa's lawyer. She wanted a divorce, cited irreconcilable differences, wanted to be taken off the mortgage, but, get this, she also wanted half the equity in the house. Said nothing about the $38,000 she'd already taken. Nothing about the cancer. Nothing about the way she disappeared the moment things got real. I took the letter straight to Brian. He flipped through it and scoffed. Pretty bold, he said. She empties your account and wants half the house too. What should I do? Nothing yet, he said. Let's see how far she wants to push this. The next day I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. Logan, it's Vanessa. This is my new number. I know you're upset, but we need to figure this out. My lawyer says I'm entitled to half the house. I didn't respond. 3 days later, another message. Logan, being childish won't help. I know you're going through stuff, but I have rights too. Stuff. Like cancer was just a bad day. I blocked the number. The third chemo session was worse than the first. I couldn't keep anything down for 2 days. Lost 12 pounds. Couldn't sleep. Could barely think. Ellie drove up and stayed for a week. Cleaned the place. Cooked. Took me to appointments. The night before she left, another letter arrived. More demands from Vanessa's lawyer. More legal threats. Ellie slammed it down on the table. This is disgusting. After everything she's done. She's lucky you haven't taken her to court already, she said. I looked at her and said quietly, we'll get there. A few days later, I got a certified letter from the bank. Vanessa had tried to remove my name from our joint credit cards, but couldn't do it without my signature. She'd also attempted to get into our safe deposit box, the one holding the Mustang title, house deed, and my grandfather's will. But she didn't have the second key. My key. I called Brian immediately. She's panicking, he said. She must know she left loose ends. What now? Let's shut it all down. Move the documents. Lock it all under your name. I took a sick day, though every day was a sick day now, and handled it all. Closed the old box, opened a new one, went to the DMV and finalized the Mustang paperwork, removed her name before she could touch it. That night I got another text from another new number. You changed the Mustang title? That car is half mine. You put my name on it. I stared at the screen. How did she already know? I'd just filed the forms that morning. That's when it hit me. She had someone feeding her info, either at the DMV or the bank, someone tipping her off. I called Brian. I think she's got someone on the inside. He was quiet for a moment. Her dad has connections. He's a lawyer. Wouldn't put it past him. What do I do? Brian's voice lowered. We feed them bad info. The next morning, we started playing offense. I called the realtor handling my grandfather's land and told her to pause the sale, but I made sure to casually mention I was exploring other options for liquidating assets. Let that float out there, like bait. Then I called my old investment bank, asked a bunch of questions about early withdrawals from my dusty 401k, told them I might need the money for medical bills. I made it all sound urgent, desperate. Then we waited. 2 days later, Vanessa's lawyer sent over a new demand, a portion of any proceeds from inherited property, and a fair division of all retirement accounts. Brian smirked when I showed him. She took the bait, he said. While that circus was building, I focused on surviving. Chemo was rough. Every session left me weaker, thinner, balder. But the doctors were cautiously optimistic. They said I was responding well, that we had a shot. Ellie started visiting every other weekend. Tim and Lisa checked in almost daily. My boss reduced my hours but kept my health insurance active. I was exhausted, but I was hanging on. Not just to life, but to control of my story. Brian called one morning with an update. We got her banking records, he said. Want to know what she did with the money? Tell me. She transferred it to a new account, then cut a check for $30,000 to her parents. I sat down stunned. Why would she do that? Brian didn't even hesitate. She's trying to hide it, launder the money through family so it can't be traced. Can she get away with that? No, he said. That's the beauty of it. She transferred joint funds during a known medical crisis and then tried to bury the trail. Judges hate that. I let that sink in. I just don't want a long court battle, I said quietly. I don't have the energy. Brian was firm. She won't let it go that far. Not once she sees what we've got. He was right. 2 days later, I left a chemo session and walked out into the hospital parking lot. And there it was, a silver BMW. Vanessa's father sitting behind the wheel, sunglasses on, watching the entrance like he was on surveillance. I didn't hesitate. Walked straight to his window and knocked. He rolled it down slowly, cool, composed. "Logan," he said, "you look unwell." "Cancer'll do that," I said flatly. "What are you doing here?" "Vanessa's concerned. Says you're being unreasonable about the divorce." I actually laughed. "Unreasonable? She's willing to be generous," he said. "Split the house. Clean terms." I stared at him. "She already took all the savings, right after my diagnosis." He shifted in his seat. "She was emotional. People make mistakes." "No," I said. "This wasn't a mistake. This was a decision." Then he leaned in, voice low. "Logan, let's be practical. You're sick. You need to focus on getting better, not fighting a legal battle you can't afford." And that's when it all clicked. They thought I was desperate, that I was broke, too tired, too weak to fight. They didn't know about the land sale, the Mustang paperwork, the files we'd compiled, the strategy. I didn't answer him. Just said, "Tell Vanessa I'll have my response to her lawyer by Friday." He called after me. "Don't make this harder than it has to be." I didn't look back. Thursday morning, I met with Brian and our new attorney, Catherine Chen. She specialized in divorce and financial fraud. We laid everything out. Bank records showing the withdrawal, texts with timestamps, testimony from Megan confirming Vanessa knew about the cancer. That check to her parents. Catherine sat back and said, "This is textbook financial abandonment and attempted asset concealment. No judge will go soft on this." "What's the moo?" I asked. "We file our own action. Divorce on grounds of abandonment during medical crisis. We request full recovery of funds, full property rights, and reimbursement of legal fees." "Will it work?" "I've never seen a cleaner case," she said. "But honestly, we won't need court. They'll fold." The next day she sent the filing, complete package. Divorce action, evidence, witness statements, timelines. By noon, Vanessa's lawyer requested an emergency meeting. "They weren't expecting this," Brian told me. "They thought you were too sick to hit back." Monday morning, I walked into Catherine's office for the meeting. She'd told me not to speak unless asked. Just be present. Calm. Vanessa showed up with her father and a slick lawyer with a permanent scowl. She looked perfect, tan, rested, like she'd spent the last few months on a beach while I was puking into a hospital trash can. She didn't look at me. Her lawyer started, "We disagree with the aggressive nature of your claims, but my client is open to settlement." Catherine didn't flinch. "Let me be clear. This isn't a negotiation. This is your one chance to walk away quietly. Your client emptied a joint account during a medical crisis, tried to hide funds, demanded more. We have everything documented." Vanessa shifted. Her father leaned forward. "Surely we can work something out." Catherine cut in. "Your daughter transferred emergency medical funds to you. We have the check. Will you be returning that money today? Or should we add you to the lawsuit for receiving fraudulently obtained marital assets?" Silence. Vanessa's lawyer cleared his throat. "What exactly are you demanding?" Catherine laid it out. "Full return of the $38,000. Vanessa gives up all claim to the house, the Mustang, the land, and my retirement accounts. She covers all legal fees. In exchange, we won't press charges," Vanessa's dad muttered. "This is robbery." "No," Catherine said. "Robbery is what your daughter did. This is justice." The meeting ended with their team asking for 48 hours. As we left, Vanessa tried to catch my eye. I didn't even blink. In the elevator, Brian smiled and patted my shoulder. "You did good in there." "I didn't do anything," I said. "Just sat still." "Sometimes," he replied, "that's the hardest thing to do." 2 days later, Catherine called. "They folded. Full settlement accepted. We'll have the funds and signed papers within 30 days. I didn't say anything for a moment. "You okay?" she asked. "I think so," I said. It doesn't feel like a win. It feels like the end of something." But that night, I slept through the night for the first time since the diagnosis. 30 days later, I got the cashier's check. $38,000, paid off medical bills the same day. The divorce was finalized a week later. I signed the papers in silence. "What now?" Brian asked me as we left the office. "Finish treatment, get better, figure out the rest." 6 months later, I got the words I'd been waiting for. Complete remission. I called Ellie. She screamed. Then I called Joel, an old buddy in Missoula who'd been offering me a job at his custom auto shop for years. You still got a spot? Hell yes, he said. When can you start? I sold the house, bought a small cabin in Montana, 2 bedrooms, big garage, mountains out every window. The day I left Spokane, Tim and Lisa came by to say goodbye. Lisa handed me one last casserole. You doing okay? Tim asked. I paused, thought about it, then said, getting there. 3 months into my new life, I got a final text from an unknown number. It was Vanessa. I heard you're in remission. I'm glad. I know you probably won't believe this, but I think about you often. I made a mistake. I was scared. I'm sorry for everything. I stared at it for a long time, then typed back just 4 words. I survived. Be well. Then I blocked the number, walked into my garage and started working on the Mustang, not to sell it this time, but to bring it back to life. For me, some things once broken can't be fixed, but others, they come back stronger, and I'm one of them.